Same-sex couples in Kentucky suffer a setback in the fight for marriage equality after a federal appeals court upholds the state's ban on gay marriage. Plus, if you have plans to chill this weekend, the weather will reflect it. Temperatures getting ready to drop into the 30s. Wait for New Sunrise at 6 starts right now.
Live in high definition, this is Wave 3 News.
Good morning. In addition to all that, we got the mayor talking about Light Up Louisville festivities. Perfectly timed, I think. Also, the high school football playoffs kick off tonight. A lot of blowouts are going to happen because the low seeds playing the high seeds, but St. X and Male hosting games. Southern at Ballard, a big game. Big Squeeze, part 17 here this afternoon.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're going to move toward that, but first, let's start off with the forecast because we've seen some snow in parts of Kentucky. How close is it to us, though?
Not close to us. It's in eastern Kentucky, and it's not headed this way. So just a few snow flurries flying around eastern Kentucky this morning. We have just clouds overhead, but we're going to see some of these clouds clearing out for some sunshine today. Here are the top 3 things you need to know about the forecast.
That's the latest on your morning ride. We'll have an update for you coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. 6:02 right now. Big story we're following this morning. Supporters of gay marriage must find a new path to equality here in Kentucky after federal appeals courts upholds same-sex marriage bans.
Wave 3 News reporter Catherine Kington joins us live this morning with a reaction to the decision and a look at the next step now for supporters of the movement.
Yes, and good morning to you. Those who support gay marriage in Kentucky have hit a little bit of a roadblock, but say they're not stopping now. Yesterday, we found out that in federal appeals court in Cincinnati, the court did uphold a standing of a ban in Kentucky in a 2-to-1 decision, saying Kentucky voters had already decided the issue by approving the ban a decade ago. 3 other appeals courts have said gay marriage bans in other states like Indiana are unconstitutional.
They're ducking the issue. I mean, they're the judges. They're supposed to rule on whether or not something's constitutional. Saying it's not my job to rule on that doesn't make any sense. It is their job to decide if something's constitutional or not.
And they're not determining and creating marriage. They're rather respecting what marriage has always been.
So where do you go from here? This will likely go to the Supreme Court. Several parties on both sides are saying that they will be heading to Washington, D.C. You'll see Kentucky fighting this one out a little bit more. They're not going to stop with this. There is a rally today. It's actually a protest. That'll be at noon downtown. And you can find more out about that in our news at 6:30. But for now, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, Catherine. So while obstacles block the aisle for same-sex couples in Kentucky, those in Indiana continue tying the knot every day. The fact marriage laws change when you cross the river has many gay marriage supporters calling for national uniformity.
We're lucky that the federal government is recognizing all the marriages, but there's 20 states that aren't. So that is a problem and that needs to be rectified.
Indiana's ban on gay marriage was overturned 1 month ago, on October 7th.
Well, this morning, Kentucky has a new lieutenant governor after President Obama calls on Jerry Abramson to become one of his closest civic advisors. The surprise move forced Governor Steve Beshear to find a quick replacement, naming former state auditor Crit Llewellyn as second in command. Abramson held the position for the last 3 years.
I was surprised when I got the call saying, would you be interested? So I'm dealing with workforce training and early childhood education and how we can help cities and counties and states in infrastructure investment.
Before becoming lieutenant governor, Abramson served 5 terms as Louisville mayor, overseeing a radical transformation of the city's waterfront. Abramson will officially resign as lieutenant governor on Thursday. Well, he filed a whistleblower lawsuit against his boss, the sheriff, and then ran against him as a write-in candidate in the election. Now, Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy T.J. Shaw is out of a job after embattled Sheriff Jamie Kinman retained his post, giving Shaw the axe. The day before the election, Kinman was indicted on charges of tampering with evidence and official misconduct. Shaw alleges in a lawsuit filed in August that Kinman planted drugs from the evidence room in a former chief deputy's cruiser. This morning, Shaw claims retaliation prompted his firing, but Kinman says that's not the case, saying Shaw's unexcused absences from work and insubordination are the sole reasons he lost his job.
If that's the case, then why didn't it say that on that letter, that termination letter? It was a 1-sentence letter that said my employment was terminated. It didn't say anything about that. And it's public record. They can pull Mr. Mando can pull the records and see if I've missed work.
As for the election, Kinman won with 54% of the vote. Shaw collected around 45%. 3,000 votes were cast with a difference of 270 between both men.
Well, today, Ebola survivor Dr. Kent Brantley will share his experience battling the deadly virus with a Louisville audience. The doctor, along with his wife, will speak tonight at the Southeast Christian Church Global Missions Health Conference. Brantley, who contracted Ebola in June while working in West Africa, became the first Ebola patient to get treatment on U.S. soil. His colleague, Dr. Rick Sekra, who also survived Ebola, will speak at the event tomorrow night. Also happening today, with the holidays just around the corner, Mayor Greg Fisher will have some bright ideas as he details this year's Light Up Louisville. The 34th annual kickoff of the holiday season takes place Friday after Thanksgiving at 4th and Main with the lights and fireworks and Santa and the city Christmas tree. And that video's gotten me in the mood now.
Christmas
More
music.
than ever. Yes.
All the radio stations love it.
Okay, it's 6:06. A gruesome discovery under a Texas home with a Kentucky connection.
A woman schemed to collect the Social Security benefits of her deceased parents may have hit another dead end. That's next.
And temperatures will be dropping for a chilly weekend. We're going to take a look at the numbers and win our next chance for a few snowflakes. When that will be coming up in your forecast. And now here's a look at your Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Mega Million is $15 million and the Powerball is $203 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education.